Buffer is one of the most popular social media tools out there today, but is it any good? Well, I've tried Buffer, I've tested all of its different features, and I'm going to walk through how I use it to manage my social media. Let's dive in. Buffer is a pretty affordable social media tool for creators and for small business owners. That's because you can use the free version and you can use it to create and schedule content for up to 3 different channels. I'd recommend starting with LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter or X. And you get access to all of its tools, and that's more than enough to start growing your social media accounts without necessarily feeling like you're burning out. Now, when you're ready, you can upgrade to the Essentials version. This is currently what I have a subscription for. And you basically pay $5 per channel per month. So it's pretty straightforward pricing. And you get access to some additional tools for engagement, that is commenting, and some additional analytics. So you can really dig into how your posts are performing. Buffer also has a team plan, so I did use the team plan as well. Now, the key difference with the team plan is that you can give access to team members, so they get their own email to log in, and they can write posts for you, or they can schedule content for you. And you can also give clients access as well. So this can be quite good if you're writing content on behalf of another client or company, or you're a ghost writer. And there are draft collaboration tools, so you can approve posts in progress. There is an agency version as well. I did not try this. Now, the pricing I was referred to is annual pricing. So perhaps if you want to take out the free version and then just try it for a few months, you'll need to pay $6 per channel. And you can, of course, use the picker here to calculate exactly how much you're going to spend. And pleasingly, Buffer pretty much works for every single social media network, or all the big ones, and even 1 or 2 you may not have heard of. And I'm going to show you how to connect those inside of Buffer. Buffer is pretty easy to use. So this is what it looks like when you log in. On the left-hand side, you can see all of the channels that you're connected to. And the number basically means how many posts you have scheduled. I've currently connected 8 different social media channels. And on the right-hand side, you can see a social media calendar with all of your posts. The posts are easy to click into and drag and drop, but I'll show you how all of that works in a moment. First, connecting your channels. So you have 2 options. You can click on New and go down to Connect a Channel, or you can click on Manage Channels. So if I click on Connect a Channel, you can see a list of everything that Buffer has on offer. So it has some channels you may not be on, like Blue Sky and Mastodon, and you can even connect Google My Business and Shopify. And connecting is pretty straightforward. You just put in your login details and approve the channel in question. Once you've connected all of your channels, you can start creating posts inside of Buffer. So simply click on the plus, click on Post, select the channel in question. So in this case, I'm going to select X and Threads. Then head over to wherever you've written your post, or you can write it directly in Buffer. So in this case, I'm just going to take some text that I wrote inside a writing app. I'm going to paste it directly into Buffer. I can upload an image. So I'm just going to upload an image at random that I've created previously. Then I can click on Customize for each network. And I can customize the text for Twitter, or in this case for Threads, based on the content. And then I can decide if I want to share now, share next based on my schedule, and I'll show you how that works in a second, or pick a predetermined schedule date. This is probably Buffer's biggest strength over the other tools that are out there. It's just great for content repurposing. So you can take some long form content. So here is a post that's several hundred words long, and then you can click all of the different networks that you think it's useful for. And then when you want, you can go in and customize the text based on the requirements or the characteristics of the network in question. And when you're ready, then you can click add to queue or schedule for the network in question. So as an example, it's okay for Twitter, even though it's quite long, because I have a Twitter premium subscription. So that means I can publish long form content on Twitter, and that's something new that they've rolled out. And I have the start thread option. So if I want to add a CTA for subscribing to my email list, then if I head over to Instagram, you can see I have different options. So I can add some music. I can put in first comment, like for example, DM me the word comment and I'll send you my playbook. And I can also put in a location if I feel that's relevant. If I head over to LinkedIn, again, I have an option to add first comment. So I use this quite a bit. I post on LinkedIn regularly, and I use first comments to add supporting content and to also ask people to join my email list. There's none of those options for Threads, and I'll just enable the other networks so you can see what they look like. So if I go over to YouTube, now clearly this isn't a video, so I can't put this up, but there is an option to select the category and the visibility, and also to allow embedding. And then if I head over to TikTok, I just put in the post title. Or what I do is write long form content for LinkedIn and for Twitter. And then I make a few edits, and then I also post that on Facebook and Instagram. And I attach an image for each of these networks. In terms of shorts, I was actually recording quite a bit of shorts some time ago. So using Buffer, I was able to put the shorts on YouTube, on TikTok at the same time. Not doing as much short form content at the moment, but those features are there. I'm going to head back over and show you some of the customization options you have for different channels. So the main channels that I'm mostly focused on these days are LinkedIn. I find this is quite good for working with clients. So I have a custom posting schedule. I post once per day, 5 days per week. I'm just going to turn this back on. I find once per day works quite well for LinkedIn at the moment. Now I also have a Facebook page that has 25,000 subscribers, or should I say followers. My posting schedule for Facebook is quite a bit different. So I post 5 times a day, 6, and now I'm going to go to 7 times a week. And the posts are approximately 2 hours apart. And I can remove any one of these posting times or add more posting times, and the queue will automatically update, which is really handy. Now there are some additional options where I can pause the queue at any time. If, for example, I've written posts about the same types of content, I can shuffle the queue quickly and easily. If for some reason I want to delete everything in my queue, I can click clean, or I can just empty it as well. Or sorry, should I say clean will remove the failed updates, the failed posts. That doesn't happen very often. And empty will delete all of the posts that are in my queue. And the options are pretty similar for the other channels as well. So here's the Instagram time zone or the Instagram schedule. So I'm just going to remove some of these. And then if I go over to general, you can see I have the options for pausing, shuffling, cleaning, and emptying. And Buffer also has a link shortener, although these days it doesn't make much sense to put links on social media because social media platforms like to keep you on the platform in question. So here's the YouTube settings. Again, pretty similar. Link shortening. And I can use Bitly, buff.ly, which is their proprietary link shortener, or no shortening. Buffer has a few other options which are worth checking out. So you can actually use it to capture ideas for your posts using the Buffer Chrome plugin, or basically ideas that you might think about yourself. So simply click on New, click on Ideas, and then you can just give yourself a title and an idea. So post about using Buffer for social media, why it works, what I like, what I dislike. And if I like it, I can also upload or attach an image. And then I'll click Save Idea, and it gets added to a type of virtual Kanban board. I don't personally use this quite a lot, but I could see how it could be useful if, for example, I was working with a ghostwriter, because I could assign these posts to them and then they could write them. Or if I was working with a client. Now what I do currently is a virtual assistant uploads some images that I put on LinkedIn, which have done quite well in terms of reach and engagement. There's no content here. I just use these as a type of writing prompt. So here is an image that I put on LinkedIn. I designed this with Canva actually, even though it looks like a tweet. AI isn't here to fix your content strategy. A few months ago, a business owner told me he wanted to cut costs, so he fired his marketing team for AI. Now he's busy rehiring. So what I could do here is just simply click on Create Post. Now I'm going to turn this into a Facebook post. Friendly reminder. Write what AI can't. Authentic personal content. And if I wanted to expand that post, I could click on the LinkedIn icon. Probably wouldn't make sense to put a mock-up of a tweet on Twitter. I could potentially put this on Pinterest. And then I can click Save Draft, or I can click Add to Queue, and I can share it now, next, or schedule. So I'm just going to click Add to Queue. If you go to Analyze, you can actually look at your stats for the different channels that you've connected. Now the stats are relatively useful depending on the channel. So Facebook is good. I can see how my posts are performing, impressions, reactions, and post reach. I can go in and I can look at individual posts and sort them by impression, reach, clicks, engagement, and so on. And again, this is where Buffer is quite useful for repurposing content. So I'm going to sort by impressions So these are the posts that the most people saw. And I'm going to do it over the last month. And I'm going to click on view post. So I can view it on the network. But in this case, I just want to look at the post here, and I can look at the individual statistics for this post in question. And this can help me identify posts that I potentially want to reuse, or I can also create reports that I could potentially share with a client as well. If you're going to use Buffer, you can also use it as a type of content library. So basically, here are all the LinkedIn posts that I've sent over the past few months. And I can repurpose these posts quickly and easily. So if I click on the ellipsis, I can get a link to the post, or I can click on duplicate. So if I click on duplicate, I can write about the same idea and publish it again on social media. So in this case, what I would do is I would potentially change the hook or the first line, make a couple of tweaks to the content, perhaps consider if the image is still relevant, and then I can add it to my queue. And this is probably one of the biggest strengths of Buffer. It does make repurposing old content that you published a few months ago much faster and easier than going over to LinkedIn or Facebook, trying to find the link and then copy and pasting it into a social media tool of choice. So that is something I recommend checking out. Again, similar stats for Instagram. My Instagram account isn't really growing that much. It's not a huge priority, so I'm not going to focus too much on that. But there is stats about posts, stories, the audience, and so on. So I can see when people are online, and I could use this information to customize my posting time and the content that I have. There are stats for Twitter, so you can see the types of content that are getting the most reach and engagement. And again, this is useful for figuring out what types of content you're going to repurpose and reuse again in social media. LinkedIn stats are pretty limited, unfortunately. It only does LinkedIn profiles, not personal pages or personal accounts, I should say. So I actually just use another tool for LinkedIn stats. So this is something I'd like to see them fix. They do have some rudimentary stats inside of the queue, but unfortunately this is a bit of a gap for Buffer. And that's pretty much how the stats work inside of Buffer. Now, because I have a team subscription at the moment, I can also use engage.buffer.com. And this is just basically a way of managing commenting on my posts on Facebook and some of the other networks. So I get most comments, I should say, on Facebook. So I'm just going to pick on one at random here. Turns out the secret to online success isn't more funnels, it's fewer. And you can see this person here wants to know more about it. And then Lucky has said, test them, scale what works. Scaling is a smart play for creators. And I'm going to give a high five. And then just press enter. So if you're getting a lot of engagement on your posts, you can manage all of the unanswered comments and filter them directly inside of the engage page. Buffer also has something called a start page. Now, I personally don't use this because I'm on the ConvertKit Creator Network, and I point people to my email list, which you can join at briancollins.com, and I'll give you insights for growing your creator business. 25,000 subscribers read this every day. So you can create your personal start page and use it on all your social media accounts as a type of pseudo website. And you can customize it quickly and easily. So if you click on appearance, there's a couple of designs that you can choose from. Ooh, that purple one looks good. And then you can upload your own headshot. So you can replace the stock headshot of Emmanuel. You can change the fonts. You can also change the button color. Let's go with the red. Let's go with red and white. Then you can move down to layout, and you can actually customize the label and the link for each one of the buttons on your start page. And you can add and remove more. And you can also add your social links as well. So I suppose I've written several books. So if I was creating this, I would put books, and this would link to my Amazon store. I'd link to my YouTube channel, and I'd probably link to my email list as well. And then I'd remove some of the other buttons. There is an option to add blocks, so you can add some text. You can actually embed a video, and you can embed Spotify music as well. So there's quite a lot of customization options. And then when you publish this, you can actually look at the stats, and you can see what people are clicking on, and this could help you figure out what you should change on your start page. So again, this is quite useful. If you perhaps don't have a website yet, but you're quite active on social media. Buffer has some additional features which are worth, I suppose, covering. It actually uses or has a type of AI assistant. Personally, I don't use this. I prefer writing my own content, but this can be helpful if you're stuck. So I'm just going to paste in some text. Here's how I reached more readers with my content. I wrote and sent more emails. So it's quite a short post. Now, if I want, I can click refine with AI. So I can expand this into something that's quite a bit longer. And then Buffer will take I suppose a few seconds to present me with a longer version. So I'm going to click on replace. And here is the version that Buffer has created with AI. Now my feeling is that this is quite bland and boring to read. So it's lots of clunky language like furthermore and in conclusion, which sounds very serious. Don't think anyone will read this on social media. So this is why I don't use these AI tools that much. Anyway, let's click on rephrase for Facebook and see if we can come up with something that's slightly better. I'm going to click insert. Again, it sounds quite dry and it's written in the third person and it has hashtags for some reason. Let's click on shorten for Facebook and see is that any better. A little bit shorter, but again, probably not something that I would post on my Facebook page. But the AI tool is there if you do need some help editing your content. But personally, I find you're better off just writing it yourself. AI is better as an ideation tool rather than something that's going to write in your own voice, at least in Buffer. There are other options if you want to train a custom ChatGPT, which I'll cover in different videos. One neat feature that's worth covering is Buffer's integration with Canva. So here's my Facebook post. I can upload images using the file picker, or I can click on the C button and head over to my Canva account. And then I can go and I can search all of the templates inside of Canva, or I can head over to my projects and I can pick something that I designed earlier. I can customize this. I'm actually just going to leave this as is for the moment. Then I can click on add to Buffer and then it'll go back over to Buffer and then I can use this image across all of my social media accounts. This can be a little bit of a time saver, but if you're customizing the size of your images for different networks, sometimes I find you're better off just creating it directly in Canva and uploading it. I did run into a few issues when I was trying to create tweet style images for LinkedIn and the dimensions were wrong. But again, it is quite a useful feature inside of Buffer. A few features I haven't covered include the Buffer Chrome plugin. So I use this occasionally. Sometimes I'll come across an interesting post like this one here from Charles Miller. And if I click on the Chrome plugin, then I can click on create post and I can start to write a post if I'm inspired by what Charles or by what somebody else has put in social media. Or alternatively, I can click on save idea and basically I could save a link to Charles's post and I could say something like write a reaction to this post. So this can be a good way of using social media to, I suppose, inform whatever it is you're going to write or create. When you install the Chrome plugin, you also get access to this. So you can click on create post and Buffer will actually pull through content from the post in question, or pull through the image in question. Now I'm not going to plagiarize somebody else's image, but if you did find an interesting image on the web, that can be a way to share it, or an interesting piece of text. So you can do the exact same thing with text as well. Some areas for improvement. Well, the first thing I would like to see is first comment supported for Facebook. So to show you what I mean, here is a post that I'm going to post on LinkedIn and Facebook, and I'm going to click on customize. And now if I click on Facebook, you can see I only have an option for adding an image, for shortening links, adding GIFs, and using the AI assistant. But if I want to use first comment on LinkedIn, that option is available. So I can put in my call to action to join my email list. Now the Buffer team is pretty active and they have a publicly viewable development roadmap for the app. So perhaps they'll roll this out at some future point, but I would like to see this added. As mentioned previously, the LinkedIn analytics are not good. They're more focused on business pages, and most creators these days use LinkedIn for their personal account. There is some basic LinkedIn analytics, so I suppose I would be remiss if I didn't mention them. So I'm just going to go to LinkedIn and send, and you can see I can view the likes and comments for my posts. But it's quite hard to see is my account growing, my follower account, my connections, my profile visits. Basically statistics that you'll get in other social media tools. And it doesn't exist in the Analyze tab for Buffer. But it's better than nothing. So it is quite useful. And I suppose it is affordable. I don't have to take out other subscriptions. That's an overview of how I use Buffer. It's good because you can try it out for free for 3 channels. It's really good if you start to use it to build out a content library. And it's pretty easy to use for connecting to multiple different channels. There's probably a few quirks to Buffer, but then again, every social media tool has its quirks. I actually did take out an annual subscription to Buffer because I was so impressed by how easy it is to use, and because I don't have to spend as much time worrying about the tool. I can just create content for social media and engage with followers and connections. Hope you enjoyed the review. If you did, let me know in the comment section below this video. And if you have questions, feel free to ask as well.